to get others to buy you what you dream of. Welcome to the making of a DM. How to turn your liabilities into an asset. This is a different way of thinking, so I hope you listen to the show with both ears and fully engaged. So with that said, let's get started.
I'm more Kevin's deal. I'm more Kevin's deal. I'm here to help and teach him what I know and how I did it. To discover freedom. There ain't no question more Kevin's when he step in the door. He's closing deals. Time to tell him what the DM stand for. I'm a deal maker. But I'm not just a deal maker. I'm a dream maker.
Hey there, it's your boy Mark Evans, DM. Thank you very much for being here. Very, very excited to talk to you today on this podcast show live from Parkland, Florida. Well, it's live right now, but you're listening to it recorded from Parkland, Florida. Another spectacular, insanely beautiful day. And again, if you're up north or anywhere it's cold and ugly, I get it, man. I lived that life until 2005. I was born in 78 until 2005. I lived in Ohio full time, and I never, ever left. But now we've been down in Florida, and just knowing that it changes the game. You look good. You feel better. You want to look better. You're out moving around. You're doing stuff, and it's pretty powerful. So anyways, today I want to talk to you about something very special and powerful. And again, this comes through me talking with other people. The truth is, my buddy Matt and I were working out one day. He's like, dude, you have a superhuman power that most don't have. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And again, this isn't egotistical. It sounds silly maybe coming out like that. But the truth is, we all have unique abilities and superpowers. And the way superpowers works is you don't even know it's a superpower. You don't even know it's a strength that you even have access to because it's just super normal to you. This is not normal. And when he started talking about it, I've had other people tell me this, but I want to share that with you today. If there's anything you've ever dreamt of having, you can have others pay for that. So what I mean is I turn my liabilities into assets. And as I'm talking to you, recently we just did a thing where we're going out on a yacht. Actually, I'm going out tomorrow on a yacht with the family, which will be awesome. And then 2 weeks later, I'll be out on a yacht with 11 other entrepreneurs and business owners across the country. Now, the yacht to rent that for the day is $22,000. That's what my cost is. And plus, there's some tipping going on top of that. Let's call it $25,000. And each ticket was only $5,000. Huh? Mark, only $5,000? Dude, are you nuts? Well, let me be very crystal clear. The people that show up on that yacht that invest $5,000 will change. They are literally going to meet someone that will make them hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in their lifetime. I guarantee it. I've never not seen this happen. It might not happen immediately, but what will happen is connections will get forged, relationships will happen, and things will start popping a week, a month, 10 months, 10 years from now. Something will happen. So when people invest in themselves, they start seeing where they can generate revenue and how they can be of value to others. And that's what I love about this, kind of turning my liabilities into an asset. See, that costs $25,000 to rent the yacht. I had 11 people pay $5,000. That's $55,000. I paid $25,000. It's a great value exchange for them because if they rented the yacht by themselves, it costs $25,000. They're only paying $5,000. I get it. They'd have the whole yacht to themselves, but what fun is that? So they invest $5,000 in themselves. My job is to invest in my network through all the relationships I've built, share the opportunity, $5,000 only, come out, hang on the yacht, and I generate a net $30,000 for 8 hours. And by the way, that's cool, but that's not what I'm doing it for. But it's icing on the cake, and there's some lessons in that as well. But I'll generate $30,000, and it happened within a couple hours because I put the offer out, we shared it, and 11 people took us up on the offer. And that's all we can have. I mean, because the boat can only have 12 people. I'm the 12th one, by the way. So I get to hang out on the yacht. I get paid $30,000 to do so. And will enjoy and make connections and meet people. For me as well is I will generate a lot of opportunity and money on this yacht just like everyone else. See, just because I'm the mastermind leader, if you will, in this particular situation doesn't mean I'm not there to learn. Oftentimes the teacher's learning more than the student, if you will. And what I'm doing is I'm going to learn, I'm going to be of value to others. That's my true goal. Is like my job is to know all 11 people before they get on the boat and then know who should know who quicker, how to expedite results. I'm a problem solver. And the faster we can solve problems and the bigger the problems are, the more opportunity and the more money there are for all involved. And that's what it's about. So the yacht trip's just one example. I still do this to date. I've been doing this for many years. I did this on a mansion in Georgia. I had a 16,000 square foot mansion, $3.5 million house, and it paid for itself many times over. How or why? Well, it's simple. I said, Mark, how do you buy this house and not pay for it? Understand that thought process. How do I buy the house and not pay for it? This is different thinking, folks. We're going to constantly get the same things if we're thinking about the same thing. Man, how do I afford this house? Dude, no one can figure that shit out. Work harder? That's going to be your answer. Just go work harder. That's how you afford it. And or what can I create or what can I do where others will pay for this house for me and my family? So let's say if that house costs $20,000 a month to run, costs about $18,000 to $22,000, give or take. That's how much it costs. These are facts, by the way. This is real stuff. And what I did is I said, okay. And I talked to Dina about this. It was just her and I living in this massive 16,000+ square foot house. So it's obviously an entertainer's dream, right? If you love entertaining people, this is an awesome opportunity, which I do. I really enjoy that. And something happened to me way back in my early 20s where I went to a mansion. It was like $32 million mansion back then. But when I stepped foot on the ground, something triggered in my brain like, holy shit, I can make millions of dollars and buy something like this one day. And until then, I always thought like rich people were different or just whatever. And they are a little different, meaning they think different. That's about it. That's about all the difference they are about money. So it changed my life the day I stepped foot into this massive mansion. It was so out of my realm. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I started thinking back like, hey, I got this big 16,000 square foot mansion. I want to have people buy it for me, pay for it, if you will. How do I do that? So I created, right before I bought this house, an event called the Millionaire Mansion Experience. I said, you know what? I've been to many masterminds, many groups, many connections, many, coaching programs, whatever, but I've never been to the guy's or gal's house that was teaching it. What if I could sit in their house? What if I could go hang out and realize what this is like to live this kind of life? And again, people following me want nicer houses, nicer cars, nicer things, nicer lifestyle, more time with themselves and their family. So this is not materialistic. This is just the facts that we want. We want nice shit. I mean, they don't build it for nothing, right? So I created the Millionaire Mansion Experience. It was $1,000 a ticket, and I would do a 2-day event. I would go up to the clubhouse where this is a big golf course community, hotel on site, and it's at Chateau Elan, by the way, in Georgia. And what I would do is I was doing webinars to sell the $1,000 course. In the course alone, I was selling for $1,000, but then I gave 2 tickets to come to the event because I wanted to forge relationships with people personally. And I invited them. I opened my doors to my personal residence, my house, where me and my wife slept and lived. And that was a game changer because what happened is sales skyrocket because people want to be a part of that, which was awesome. And I'm very appreciative of that. And again, I know this because I would have done the same thing. If someone opens their door to their house, this is different. This is a different level. It's not like a seminar guru where you go to a seminar, they pitch you hardcore and they run out the back door. I want to get to know you. I want to know what you stand for, what you're thinking about, what your problems are, what your solutions are, where we're going in the future together. And that's the shit that excites me. Anyway, so I was selling 30, 50, 100 tickets a month. to this thing. And keep in mind, to run the house costs say $20,000 for easy math, and do the event. So what we would do, check this out. So I bought a monster truck limo. Actually, the people bought it, but I invested in a monster truck limo. And what I would do is people would stay at the hotel. We'd pick them up, and we did parties at my house 2 times, not once, but twice. So we'd do an event, let's say on a Tuesday, we'd do the event. And then Tuesday night, the limo would pick them up and bring them to the house. And then we'd have cocktail girls, food, cater. I mean, it's decked out. You're in a 16,000 square foot mansion hanging out. We're out back. We have music playing. I mean, it's an amazing experience. And then we always have to tell them, calm down, don't drink too much on day 1, because that can happen. Get excited. And then day 2, we work really hard at the event. We're learning a lot of cool stuff. Their brands are expanding. They're in a different world, right? The first day, it grew their minds so much of what is possible. Me, the hillbilly Mark, by the way, if he can do this and live in a house like this, why can't I? So we would do day 2, same thing, pick them up, have different food, different drinks, all that fun stuff, and forged amazing relationships. As I'm talking to you today, that's like 13, 14, 15 years ago. I still have a lot of relationships and business that I'm doing and have done with people that's attended the Millionaire Mansion experience. And if you're listening to this podcast show and you are part of that, 100% what I'm talking about. I shared this openly. So thank you guys for allowing me to live in a 16,000 square foot house for free by providing value. So these are 2 great stories and real life stories. And I've done this with jets. Me and my boy, Tim, we went to Iowa, and there's 8 seats on the jet. Him and I are going no matter what. Say it costs $20,000 to do that. So we brought 6 other people in, and they paid $24,000, $4,000 a seat. And it's not just a jet ride that they're getting, by the way. We're with them all day. They got their hotel paid for. They got their food paid for. More importantly, we had great conversations for 24 hours, right? So we met up with a guy that has a massive business and operation. We got to connect with them. These are connections and things that they could never get by themselves at the rate we got them. So literally they said, yes, I'm in for 4 Gs. Boom. They paid it, and we're off to Iowa. That's how simple it was, and getting in front of people that they never thought was possible at that fast pace. So we generated some money flying private. So when you see people flying private, you're like, oh, dude, that's a lot of money. Well, have you ever sit back and said, how do I do that and make money? Just like this yacht, making $30,000 for 8 hours. Of course, I'll be there for 8 hours, but it took me a lot longer than 8 hours to make $30,000. I've planted seeds. I've made great relationships. I've worked really hard, and people have understood the value exchange of what they get. Some see it, some don't. Here's what I've realized. I can't help you see it. I'm just sharing with you the reality of what we're doing. Go rent the yacht yourself. It's $25,000. $25,000. I don't need no yacht. No one's saying you need it. But what it does is it expands your brain. And you think it's a cost. I see it as an investment. See, keep in mind, I've invested hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars now over the years, 25 years almost, in coaches, masterminds, events, traveling to these events, taking time away from my life and business to grow myself. And I've never not made money from it, even on shitty experiences, because I learned from them. I learned how to be a better producer of my stuff to make sure their experience that you have with us is better. So how do you turn your liabilities into assets? These are the things you need to be thinking about. And before you get too excited, let me share some things that I messed up on this. Number 1, I used to not think like this a whole lot because I was just so busy doing my own thing. This is why I was always living very small, because it was inside my own bank account. Whatever's in my bank account, that's what I was visioning and dreaming about, which is cool, but it's not where you want to be. Because where you really want to be is when literally it's limitless. Like I can be on a yacht and get paid to be there. I can take a trip. This is a true story. I'm getting ready to head to West Coast on the jet. It cost me about $62,000 to do that flight, round trip. Why most people are complaining about spending $281 and economy, that trip is $62,000. That's an investment in me, my wife, and my kids' family, my lifestyle. I don't have to go through, like, we literally pull up to the jet, hop on and roll. I pay for that. But this happens in May, by the way, and I'm talking to you in March. But I've already thought, what is the way to generate revenue to pay for the trip? And then you start creating, like, where's my value add? I'm going there to speak to 500 people, right? So I'm going to be speaking in front of 500 people. Clearly, that's an audience that wants to be in a room. They all paid to be there. I'm not looking to sell anything at the room, but also there's a group of people that know who I am. I don't very rarely go out to the West Coast. And when I do, I could, like, people are always asking, hey man, can I pay for a day of your time and all this? And I really don't like doing one-on-one. But what if I change the value add and sell 10 tickets at $6,000, $10,000, or whatever the number, let's call it 10 tickets at $10,000 a piece, $100,000 for one day event. And I sit in the room and we grow their businesses. They invest $10,000 and they grow their business by $1 million minimum in the next 12 months. Is that a good deal? To me, it's a hell of a deal. It's a no-brainer. The truth is, if they invest $10,000 and at least make $10,000 back, which would be it's impossible, damn near. Like, I don't even know how it couldn't happen, but I guess anything's possible. But what's cool about people that invest $10,000, they do shit. They make shit happen. Period. This is in all truth, honesty, why I don't like working with beginners. I don't like working with excuse makers. Because you could literally hand them the key to the fucking safe and they'll complain about it. You could literally say, go outside and grab your bucket. Money's falling from the sky. And they'll be like, but I need an umbrella. But what if I scratch my eye if I look up with the dollar bills hitting me? Ow, those gold bars hurt when they hit my head. Wow, this bucket's so heavy. See, some people just fucking complain. Those aren't the people I'm talking about. These are not the people you could ever help. For heaven's sakes, they can't even help themselves. But this is how I turn my liabilities into assets. It starts with thinking, though. Has nothing to do with the asset or the liability. Has something to do with you. It has everything to do with you thinking. If I'm looking to take a very big vacation, which we do often, maybe not as much since COVID, but like, again, heading to West Coast, 62 G's, that's kind of a chunk of change. And my thought is, oh my God, I can't afford that, which pretty much everyone reverts back to that, or says, oh my God, that's a lot of money. Well, compared to what, right? It might be a lot of money to you with what's in your bank account, but it's really not a lot of money. If I look at the whole world's deficit, 62 grand is really nothing. Actually, it's nothing at all. It's like a raindrop in the ocean of water. So for me, my mind thinks commit 62 G's in. I'm already in, by the way. And then execute a plan to generate 10 tickets at 10,000 or 20 tickets at 5,000. I promise you, I'm not going out there unless I make at least $100,000. I have no fucking clue how it's going to happen yet. And I'm being honest with you. I just know that for whatever dollar amount they give me, I want to see them get a 10 to 20x within 3 months. So if they give me 10 grand, I'd love to see them make $100,000 to $200,000 in 3 months with the connections in that room that I put in there, as well as the knowledge they'll gain on what I'm sharing with them. See, this is a different thinking pattern. It's not like, how can I get more and do less or give less? It's not about doing work, by the way. It's about giving. How can I get 10 grand from you and deliver barely 10 grand in value? That model doesn't really work too well in life in general at all, right? How do you give less and get more? It's not a good model of serving people. But I can tell you this. I feel very confident we're going to do it. I have no clue how the hell we're going to do it yet. I don't know the hook. I don't know the angle. I don't know the objective. I just know that I put it out there and I'm thinking about it and I'm going to create money out of thin air. Money is simply an idea and I'm going to create it because I need other people to pay for my liability, right? I need other people. I'm going to make $38,000 to go hang out for a week in a badass location, speak to 500 amazing people. Folks, it's only 10 people at 10 grand. The truth is, one guy or gal could pay me 100 grand for one person. I probably wouldn't even do it. Why? Because I'd rather have 10 amazing people because they can connect with each other. I like the connection factor. It's got some power to it. But with that said, if you're on the West Coast, you should private message me because I am going to do something out there in mid to end of May. I forget the exact dates, so that's why I'm giving a broad range. But I think it's like the 19th to 25th, somewhere around there. So I'll be out there for 7 or 10 days with my family. We'll be flying out on the jet, and I'll be talking to 500 amazing people at my boy Sean Whalen's event, Lions Not Sheep. So how do I get paid? These are the things I think about. And maybe it's because I grew up poor. Maybe it's because, like, if I wanted something, I had to figure out how to get it. And it's not steal it. It's not take it and beat someone up and take it. It's how to create value. And value is very relative. Value to you and I might be drastically different. I value my time. You might value your money more than your time. I'm not judging it. Most people do, right? That's why you're willing to trade your time for dollars. I prefer to sell and be at control, like how much money I can make. There's no cap on what I make except through my brain. This is different thinking. And again, I apologize for not sharing this to you many years in advance. I thought everyone did this shit. I thought everyone thinks like this until my buddies start saying, dude, this is a secret weapon, a superpower that you have. You don't even know that you have it. But let me just be clear. I've messed this up multiple times over the years because I felt guilty. Yep. I felt guilty about what I'm sharing with you. So let me explain something. So I did an event one time. I think the cost was $5,000. That's how much it cost to do the event. This is a long, long time ago. And I was like, how do I get people to pay for it? And what I did is I was trying to figure out how to get more people in the room and charge them less. So what my formula back then was $5,000 because the event cost $5,000, divide by 20 people or 10 people or 40 people, right? Let's call it 50 people. So it's like, how do I sell 50 people at $100? Folks, I can tell you right now, and this may blow your mind, it's easier to sell one person for $5,000 than it is to sell 50 people for $100. Now, this might sound crazy to you, but I promise you, I've tried to buck this trend. It does not. It's the truth. It is the truth. But I used to mess this up because I would charge what I had in it. $5,000, 50 people, $100, and that's it. I break even. I invest all my time selling the tickets. I give my time away to sell the tickets, and I give my time away to do the event. I make zero. But it didn't cost you anything, Mark. Listen, I don't know about you, but I don't like working for free at all. And I did this for years, but I felt guilty. I'm like, but it only cost me $5,000. Why would I charge them more? And then you start understanding real business. There's a cost to every ticket sell, time and money, or both. And typically it's always both. And then you got to get paid to show up. There's a show up fee, right? You are the one. you're the celebrity for that event. So you got to have a payment structure. So let's say if I just say $10,000, where I'm going with this is too many times we're just doing enough to do enough. If it costs $5,000, you charge $5,000. What I recommend is at least adding and again, depends on the size of the event and how hard it is and all this stuff, but you got to be making money, thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars for the day, minimum. Because it's not just the day. Let's be honest. You got to sell the tickets. You got to create the idea. You got to formulate the process. You got to hire the web developers or tech people or however you take the money. There's a cost to taking money. Credit card's going to charge you 4%, 3 or 4%. Then you got the staff. Then you got to set up for the room. Then you got the team running the room. So we're just looking at hard costs. We're not talking about all the other associated costs to an event. And then what I like to do, I'm more of a Four Seasons type of guy where I like to send gifts to people prior and or after. I like to give them gifts when they show up. By the way, everything I'm saying costs money, right? It takes money. So if you only charge $5,000 and it costs you $5,000 hard cost for the event, you don't have any upside opportunities to take care of your people, your tribe, and give them a better experience. But if you charge 10, 20 grand to do this event that costs you $5,000, now you have $15,000 of wiggle room, right? Where you could buy a really cool gift. You could send something over the top. You could let them know, acknowledge them at another level. What's the last event you've been to where someone sent you a gift after the event? Someone gave you a badass gift at the event. And I'm not talking a pen. I'm talking something very powerful, very meaningful. These are the things you do with custom experiences when people are paying, like using your liabilities as an asset. See, my asset is not necessarily the jet or the yacht or any of that. My asset is my brain. And I know that. I hope you know that. And I know in the beginning, I didn't understand the value of my asset, but there's a real value to it. Just like a house. It's all location, location, location. Well, your brain is location at the highest level. It's the only location you got. That's why you need to knowledge up constantly. That's why you need to be a connector. And that's my job. I genuinely love connecting with you, people. That's why I do the podcast show for free. That's why I do lives online for free. That's why I share my life on social for free, because I want to connect with you through my lens of how I'm rolling. This conversation I'm having with you today, every single fucking person could make millions of dollars having their life paid for them, having the jets, having the Ferraris, having the Rolls Royces, having the mansions, paying for dream vacations, paying for these things that you've never thought were possible. You don't have to believe me. Put it to work. You'll see it happen. I teach this at the high level in the DM fam. That's my 35K, actually about to be 50K a year mastermind group. I teach this because every single person in that group should be making millions of dollars within 12 months with this superpower. It's not so super powerful if you know it exists, because every single person could do it. By the way, let's say if you love golfing, you take 10 guys golfing. It costs you $200 a round per person. So 10 guys is $2,000. Why not do a golf trip, a one-day event or two-day event, charge $2,000 a person? You get to go golfing and hang out with 10 amazing people, 9 because you're the 10th, amazing people. And they pay $2,000 to be there. So they invested in themselves. They're semi-serious about their life. They have a little bit of money to grow. And then maybe you golf one day, hang out, and then go into the workroom for 3 or 4 or 5 hours. Talk about their goals, their dreams, where their business is at. See, and don't get this confused. Don't think you need to be sitting in a room all fucking day working on a whiteboard. I see people do this. It's the most boring shit I've ever seen in my life. First of all, no one wants to do that. Nobody. So, but it makes you feel like you're getting your value because you really sit there and you're grinding it out. Well, I don't know about you, but after about 4 or 5 hours, I'm done. I'm like kind of wore out. So for you, turn it into an experience, a value proposition experience. Come and golf with me. The truth is, more shit will happen when you're golfing because you're caught in the golf cart talking. They're seeing how you work, how you don't work, what you're saying, what you're not saying, how you treat others. I mean, there's a lot of things happening consciously and subconsciously. And then when you go into the room to work, you can get going. So would you spend $2,000 to make 20 grand? Set it up. Any fucking person can do this, by the way. So don't use, I don't have any value. Bullshit. You're a valuable individual. Your value might not be, dollars. Here's a cool thing. If you want to see what value is, first of all, value is all relative. Go on a thing called Charity Buzz. People are paying $5,000 to have a celebrity follow them on Instagram for a week. Do you understand that? Do you understand how stupid that is? Just to say, oh my God, Jamie Foxx is following me, or whoever the fuck. I don't even know, but whatever. Who cares? There's zero value to that, by the way. But that's a lie, because someone pays for it. It's valuable to them for whatever reason. Maybe their ego, Or they can tell their friends, oh my God, Jamie Foxx is following me. Whatever that means. You have value. Maybe you're good at marketing. Maybe you're good at organization. Maybe you're good at selling. Maybe you're good at CRM management. Maybe you're good at data mining. Maybe you're good at something. You're good at something. And then you need to start building a tribe of people and start sharing your thoughts. Hey guys, I'm looking to do an event. Talk about this on Facebook. Talk about this on Instagram. Talk about this on your email list. Talk about this anywhere you can. Go to church and stand up in front and talk. Say, hey guys, I'm teaching people how to generate blah, 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 or do X, Y, and Z, how to streamline their whatever. Put a value on this and sell the shit. You're stealing from yourself and you're stealing from other people that want to invest in themselves if you don't do this. I've never had one person that comes on the yacht, comes on the jet, hangs out at the mansion that says, dude, this is a waste of my time and money. Never, ever, ever. And I've had thousands and thousands of people do it. Thousands of people have given me money to pay for my liabilities. This is how you turn your liabilities into assets. This is how whatever dream you can think of, this is how you can get other people to pay for your dreams. As what's his name? I forget what's that group? The Beatles. Write a swimming pool, they say. What does that mean, Mark? Write a song, collect royalties, and make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. That's what the fuck that means. If they can do it, why the hell can't you and I? We can. The difference is what are they thinking about? They don't sit down to write a pool. I don't sit down to take a 62,000 jet ride and think, man, I can't afford that. That's too expensive. Who would ever pay that kind of money? I simply think, I'm in. How do I make money from this? What can I offer? What's my value prop? And what can they get from it? And then I go to work. And I will make 6 figures gross to fly out to the West Coast. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know who will be there. I don't know how much the investment will be. It'll be at least 10 grand, by the way. And the results will be profound. If we sat in a room for 6 hours together in a collective group of people that all paid 10 grand, it's impossible to make an investment for 10 grand and not make that back plus way more. Because they invest in themselves. They showed up to get a return on investment. Clearly, they have a little bit of money because they're paying 10 grand to be in the room. So they're semi-resourceful, respectful, and generating revenue because you can't pay 10 grand if you're not making money. So it's a qualifier. And the funny thing is, and I didn't learn about this until way later. See, I always thought I was paying for who's in the room. So when people give me 10 grand, or when I used to give 10 grand, I thought I was paying for who's in the room. And then I joined a group. It was $100,000 a year for 3 meetings in Arizona. And the guy said something very interesting. He said, guys, first of all, this is the first meeting. He's like, thanks for being here. You guys know you're not paying for who's in this room. And by the way, pretty much anybody you would know is in that room that's doing big shit online. And there's only 25 of us in that room. It was pretty cool. But with that said, he's like, what you're really paying for is who is not in this room. Let me say this again because this is a game changer. When you invest in, say, the Dealmaker family for 35 grand, you're not paying for who's in the room. I know that's what you think you're doing. First and foremost, you're investing in yourself. Step 1. Step 2, what you're really investing in is who is not in that room. And what I mean by that is, as entrepreneurs, if you have this kind of money and you're gaining this kind of momentum, your biggest concern is protecting your time, getting around other people that are talking about positive direction, solution-driven. Not talking, and again, I'm not knocking family, but most of your family's going to be talking about all the bad shit, all the small-time shit, all the stuff that doesn't really matter, but it matters to them. And then they drag you down. And then entrepreneurs, who the hell do we talk to? Shit's hitting the fan. Who do we talk to? You can't just go tell the world that you suck. You can't tell the world that you have no clue what's going on. You can't go tell the world you just lost 150 G's on a deal. Well, you can. It just It's not going to be received too well oftentimes, even though you should do that. I'll explain that on another podcast show one day. But what happens is in that room, it's like a safety zone where you can talk and not be judged. When you're crushing it, they're saying, hey, why aren't you crushing it more? When you're getting beat up, they're like, dude, this is just a moment of time. Stay focused. You got this. Encouraging you. Being there to lean on. This is what investing in yourself really is about. Who's not in the room. Getting real life people that are doing business. Do you think if you're in a room of everyone paying 35 grand, you included, something good could happen from that? If you go to a room that everyone's free, you're going to hear the dumbest, stupid-ass questions you've ever heard of. They're assholes. They don't take action. They drag people down. They gossip about others. They talk negative about others. They don't do anything productive. And I'm talking in a general sense. If there's 500 people in a free room, they're the shittiest clients. I'd rather have 5 people paying 35 grand and they'll change other people's lives because they're action takers. They're doers. They don't talk about it. They do it. I'm getting a little off subject here, but you have to invest in yourself. And again, how can you get others to pay for your assets? How do you turn your liabilities into an asset? And if you've seen many people copy the DM, I promise you that. You've seen people do events at their house now. Wonder where that came from. You see people do trips and charge people to do that. And where did that come from? I don't know anybody did this before me. I was doing this in the mid 2000s, by the way. This was not even a thing. I just started thinking, and then I've taught a lot of people about the power of this. My buddy Austin's crushing it. He'll do events and he'll make 50 to 100 grand to go hang out in an awesome, amazing 5-star resort. That's amazing to me. I love hearing these stories. Love to hear your thought about the show. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram at Mark Evans DM. And I can tell you right now, whatever you can dream of, other people are waiting in line to pay for it. It just might not look the way you think it would look, but think about your value. Think about the structure. Think about what their return on investment is. And start selling ROI. Stop selling cost. You're so much better than that. I hope you turn your liabilities into an asset sooner than later. Thinking about you guys. Have an amazing day. Make sure to get over to iTunes and give us a 5-star review. And if this show hit home, let me know. Shoot me a message. I do reply personally to all messages. Let me know over on Instagram at Mark Evans DM. And if the show is really, really powerful, please feel free to share it and let people know you're listening to the DM or the making of a DM. So with that said, have an amazing day, and I'll see you on the other side.
I'm Mark Evans DM. I'm here to help and teach them what I know and how I did it to discover freedom. There ain't no question Mark Evans when he step in the door. He's closing deals. It's time to tell him what the DM stand for. I'm a deal maker, but I'm not just a deal maker. I'm a dream maker. The journey's where it's at. It's all about the process. It's time to get over to the DM project. From a small town in Ohio, so I know how it is. Did not come from a lot of money. I remember as a kid, wanted to make 100 racks. Didn't see no one making more than that. Graduated high school with a 1.8. They should've held me back. I hope my principals and teachers are alive just to witness this. I'm my own boss. I'm out here running 2-8-figure businesses. I can walk away from it all and I'll be good, but I've been called to help people just like y'all learn the game. It's time to ball. Everybody chasing the money, but I'm not chasing the money. I'm out here chasing the purpose. Yo, I've been working my whole life. What got us where we at isn't gonna get us where we wanna go. So it's time to push, time to learn, time to grow. I'm Mark Evans DM. I'm here to help and teach them what I know and how I did it to discover freedom. There ain't no question Mark Evans when he step in the door. He's closing deals. It's time to tell him what the DM stand for. I'm a deal maker, but I'm not just a deal maker. I'm a dream maker. The journey's where it's at. It's all about the process. It's time to get over to the DM project. I'm Mark Evans DM. Deal maker. Deal maker. Deal maker. Deal maker. Deal maker. Deal maker. DM project.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.